Suck my ass, this is Stiff Oddcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the April 8th, 2014 edition of the Stiff Oddcast.
Episode 5. This is our first call-in deal. We don't know how well this is going to do.
It sounds great.
Good right
It sounds
now.
great. Sounds like, I don't know, like a radio show in the morning.
We're here with Kevin Kaemerer.
Is that
the proper way to pronounce your last name, dude?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the proper way.
Okay.
It's a lot easier than it looks. So.
Okay, because the A and E will throw some people off. You know, you get too many vowels involved.
Yeah, I'm not here to butter your balls, but Kevin also started the WrestleManiacs. I guess I'll call it a forum.
Yeah.
It's a group that's on Facebook. Facebook really needed something like that, and a lot of people they were wrestling fans and they're wrestling fans now, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah, they're kind of ashamed to, in a way.
And with wrestling, either people just absolutely completely fucking hate it, or you get diehards.
Yeah,
there's no in between with that.
Yeah,
there's no in between with wrestling, man.
Yeah, there's no tweeners in wrestling, except for some performers.
John Cena.
John Cena.
I said what? Honestly, you know what I think it is? The people that don't watch it anymore, or they're not into it. I think those are the people that didn't get into it until the Attitude Era.
Yes, and that was a big deal, dude. Just because I think it was the sheer novelty of the characters on the show were more brash. They would curse more often, and
it was because Jerry Springer was also. I mean, I hate making that comparison, but I'm talking about for the the casual wrestling fans. Jerry Springer was very huge at that time, and I think the phrase was "crash TV."
Crash TV,
So that caught on.
Yeah, also I think it was a completely different time, in society. I mean, we had there was a lot more shock culture back then. You had Marilyn Manson had just hit the scene. South Park was pretty innovative.
Yeah,
and it all just blended very nicely. And now that, we're in the 2010s, I don't think there's, really any other shock culture out there. And if there is, it's just like, that's nothing compared to, when Marilyn Manson cut his ribs out and sucked himself off.
Exactly.
I guess you call it the post 9/11 era of internet. Everyone's just safe and scared.
Politically correct too, and also one of the things.
There are a lot more filters out there.
Yeah, and there's more groups and all that stuff. Trying to make a name for themselves, I guess. But one of the things I've realized too is in this 1970s, I got into Sanford and Son, right?
Yeah,
and it's one of those shows that you kind of take for granted. You kind of, it's like, I get it, Red Fox, but. I got a hold of the complete series, and I think I've gotten into the second season. And between those two seasons of that show, there's jokes, gags, and commentary that there's no way in hell they would ever get away with doing right now.
Yeah, a normal free TV.
Yeah, it's pretty astounding.
There's censorship everywhere, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like going back to earlier I just mentioned South Park was new and hit the scene. And they did a controversial, 2 or 3-parter a few years ago where, they mentioned Muhammad and all this. And, apparently they got threatened and, said, if you show the image of Muhammad on your episode, we're going to come to your house and kill you and your family.
Right.
And they went on with it. And then, Comedy Central went in and went ahead and did the editing themselves. And, I hate to be the biased guy who, South Park is probably one of my all-time favorites.
Dude, totally.
It's really
that
good.
show gets better every year.
What's so awesome about it is Matt and Trey, they see the line that they're not supposed to cross, and they take a dump on it and jump over it.
Yeah, that's what made George Carlin a legend as a comedian, I think. Because he was talking about that just in his act. He was like, sometimes in order to know where that line is, you have to cross it.
I think the reason, this is just a theory, I think the reason that South Park gets away with what they get away with is the fact is like Comedy Central can keep that show on their channel and make a killing off of it, or they can ban their show and they can do it by themselves. And when you ban a show, automatically, it's like putting a parental advisory sticker on something. It makes it even more popular.
Yes, it does.
So that's what
I think if Comedy Central were to take them off the air, it wouldn't take but a matter of hours to land on Adult Swim.
Exactly.
Or even for them to just do their own show and air it, on the internet. I think it would.
Dude, South Park Studios is fucking brilliant, man.
Mm-hmm. It's a smart idea.
Because you don't. Okay, Matt and Trey obviously know that torrents exist. It's like they're not stupid. So why not just put it on their site and just like let people watch it legally as opposed to downloading and burning their own DVDs with it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
They're ahead of the curve on that, man. I love South Park so much, man.
Yeah, it's good, man. I remember just taping the episodes back when we used to have Prime Star satellite.
Yeah, I remember Prime Star.
Well, one of the two highlights as an adolescent male to have was Comedy Central, South Park, and the Playboy Channel. So, that's the truth. And I didn't think that South Park was going to make it. But see, I now knowing what I know now, I don't know how that worked out there in phrasing, but you look at The Simpsons, right? And The Simpsons actually did the same thing that Trey and Matt have done. When they were on Fox, there was the two hottest shows that they had at the time was The Simpsons, which is an animated primetime series, and you had Married with Children, which was a live-action sitcom. And both of them pressed some serious buttons that in most cases would have gave you a red flag, and they would have taken your show off the air for a couple months or so. But The Simpsons, I will give them credit totally for mastering the whole, here's how you bite the hand that feeds you and get away with it.
It goes into the whole mentality.
The mentality.
We either do it here or we do it somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll do it somewhere else because we just made you $1 billion, And,
for sure. I think one of the coolest, probably the one and only episode, because, you talk about television in general, everybody gets an idea off of something previous. And, The Simpsons has really laid a lot of groundwork for a lot of shows, South Park included.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And one of the coolest episodes South Park ever came out with was the episode called The Simpsons Already.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And, nobody's ever, that's like probably the most original television episode on TV.
At least they were being honest about it. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
See,
and, and it's funny because you got a lot of people who, they just can't stand South Park, and there's a lot of toilet humor. And, and there is, of course, but the awesome thing about that is at the end of the episode, they have that little moral or whatever, and it's like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense after all that, madness I just watched for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What I think they did so well, and I think also the Simpson writers did in the first 8 seasons of the show, as far as I know, is they know how to be topical and timeless at the same time. They can make a joke that does pertain to the current situation and people going through socially, but at the same time, they put a timeless conclusion on it. That way, in the year 2014, you can watch the punchline and be like, ha, that's... I get what you're doing there,
God dang it, dude. Have you watched what is it? I think it's called 7 Days of Air or something, 5 Days of Air. The South Park documentary.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
dude, that's fucking awesome how they do that. They write it like Family Guy takes probably like a week or so, or maybe however it takes a long time to do.
Now, Family Guy,
it's a great show.
Yeah, that's also good.
But
too.
South Park's like
that's a good show.
South Park just does it.
Yeah,
like on the fly.
It's
the most up-to-date fucking cartoon you can possibly watch,
and it's still timeless at the same time.
I think they mentioned they may have mentioned something on that episode, Nathan, on some behind the scenes type extras, where they were talking about their original animations where it was all like construction paper cutouts, and they kind of had the feeling that they knew that computers were on the rise and they would be able to do it digitally. So very, very smart on their behalf.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, one of the fundamental inspirations for Matt and Trey was Terry Jones, or Terry Gilliam.
Wait.
I'm gonna say Jones from Monty Python.
The animator.
Yeah, because he did these bits. Of course, Monty Python's Flying Circus. That's another thing you want to revisit. I don't know if Netflix has embraced that yet or not, but
no Monty Python on Netflix.
Well, if it does, it'll crash the servers.
But see, also,
yeah, for sure.
For a lot of people, that's an acquired taste.
It is, but at the same time, they managed to do something also that was topical towards Europe, but also timelessness in human nature. And I think, that's where The Simpsons and Matt and Trey have pigeonholed, more or less, and have raised the bar through their art.
And Seth MacFarlane, too. Man.
And Seth MacFarlane's done a damn good job. Right now, it's kind of touched a raw nerve. Because, it's be like, oh, well, it's all scrambled humor, it's like, but it's funny. That's the thing. It's like, it's funny. You're going to get a laugh out of it.
Cartoons are supposed to be fucking
They're supposed to be. The cartoons, animation, in nature, is supposed to be comedy without a audible punchline through anything dialogue related. So like
visual puns.
Yeah, visual puns. That's something that cartoons were mainly invented for. Looney Tunes, for example. I can't stress this enough. Any Looney Tunes cartoon, if you watch them now, that's another thing we kind of take for granted. Like Sanford and Son. You watch a Looney Tunes cartoon now, or Warner Brothers had a scathing insanity going on with their punchlines and their characters and stuff, and I think it should be appreciated, in this generation.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
So, guys, did you all get a chance to check out Mania?
No, dude. Wanted to. I just didn't watch it, but I did follow the up to date everything. We couldn't find a good stream of it. I mean, I'm not saying that we're pirates, but we couldn't find a good stream, and I don't know. To me, it seems like there was majority of the matches were fucking badass, but do a quick rundown. The pre-game match or the pre-show match was the Uzos versus who was that, Kevin? Who was all in the pre-show matches?
Oh man, let's see. You had it was a fatal 4-way tag team match. The Usos defending their title against the El Matadors or Los Matadores, whatever. The Tito Santana Sons.
Oh.
You had the Real Americans, Jack Swagger, and Cesaro. Cesaro, man, dude.
Yeah, he's the shit.
He's straight legit. I was really pumped when he kind of announced that he was a Paul Heyman guy. I'm a huge Paul Heyman fan, so that was definitely made me happy. And I can't remember who the other one was. That's kind of the state of stuff.
Okay, Kevin. See, this is what boggled my mind. It's like, how could you not have the Rhodes brothers involved in that match?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, Goldust, man, pushing almost 50, and he's only getting better.
Yeah, dude, this is the best he's wrestled. This run that he had in WWE, that run, I'm sure it might be over now. That was the best he ever wrestled in his whole career.
He looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, he still looks
good.
There's
nothing that he really did in the ring that stood out to me other than the flamboyancy and stuff. The theatrical length of his gimmick.
Yeah.
But man, and of course Cody, man, you can't stare at him. I think he's way past due.
Cody's
for a title shot.
Yeah, see, I think him and Ziggler both, man, they've both been pushed on the back burner.
That's the hype right there.
Because they work hard. They're good, young, purebred WWE talent, and it just boggles my mind sometimes that these young dudes just get overlooked every year.
They do, and I think it's. I don't know if it's just the nature of the business right now. Of course, I wouldn't know the first thing because I hadn't even had a big toe on the squared circle as far as I'm concerned.
I've never been.
But I will say, as a connoisseur, longtime connoisseur of the entertainment, I do find it puzzling the way they are treating some of their talent. Like the Daniel Bryan thing, they should have called an audible on his success a long time ago, and I think. At this point, I think as Steve Austin had brought it up in his podcast, is like the window is closing. You need to hit.
You got to cash in when they're hot.
Yeah, because this is a dude who's getting over without a green light push, and that's what's the nature of the business is. It's random in reality. That's what makes it fun. It's like, one day, you watch a mid-carder come in, do his business, but the next day he just performs to the 12th percent or the 112th percent. He just really brings it, and it's like you want that to happen.
Well, okay. There's a big difference between being organically over and WWE creative over.
Yeah, the green light push.
Daniel Bryan was organically over with everyone. Just because if you're a super wrestling fan, you know him from ROH is Daniel or Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
had some awesome matches there. When he got called, he done an NXT run too, right? Before he
he did the I guess what they they consider their first class.
Yeah,
that was interesting, and I'm really glad that they stuck with that. I guess that brand, because the NXT of today is just it's better than Raw.
Oh, dude, yes, all I hear NXT because those dudes are hungry.
Yeah,
they're waiting for the.
I don't know why they're so hungry. I guess I can understand. When you're in the business and you're really working hard, and I guess the WWE and becoming champ, that is the ultimate goal when you're a professional wrestler. But I know all those guys have to sit back and say this product sucks, and I think I should just be happy where I'm at. I would want to stay with TNA. I mean, I'm sure it's a decent pay, and it's a far better product than Raw.
So, did you hear about Jeff Jarrett's Global Wrestling Force?
Yeah, I just read the article. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it right now. I'm afraid it's just going to probably wind up like TNA. And I don't want it to. I don't ever want to see anybody in the business fail. But I don't know. It's just the WWE. A lot of people purchase this machine, and that's exactly what it is. And I think there's fighting wins the battle. His competition is what his goal is.
Yeah,
he's just in it for the business. More power to him. I was never a big Jeff Jarrett fan. I thought he broke $1 million worth of guitars and never could have done while he was in the WWE and WCW. But the fact that he is he's pretty well known for being a part of a wrestling family. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, but he really believes his character. He really does believe that he's the charismatic enigma. It's his. But that dude was never over anywhere.
His dad is the one that really, Jerry Jarrett, I believe.
Right, yeah. And the first time I ever seen him wrestle was when he had debuted in the WWE or F back then.
Yeah.
And I didn't like him then. And of course I was younger, so I was focused on guys like Razor and Michael. But I was never a big fan of him. And then of course he jumped ship. And really the only thing I can really remember out of him out of WCW was like the NWO had a hand, and he kind of led his own NWO regime. It was terrible.
God dang it. Yeah, that was probably the last 4 months of WCW.
Yeah. Go ahead, Case.
It's okay. Global Force. I know he's just doing it because he has the money.
He can.
Yeah. Just because he can.
Right.
But if you think that there's no room for a third wrestling company, because if you're in third place, you ain't shit. It's just like Ring of Honor is fucking badass.
Yeah, dude, Ring of Honor. I just recently started getting into it and watching a lot of their shows. And, it's legit, man.
Dude, the wrestling is there.
It's by far the best out there. There's no market for it, I guess.
No, man. Like, I was in Nashville. It was me, Sarah, and I just so happened to catch it in a fucking hotel room. It was like, it was 11 p.m. on some random fucking local channel.
Was that live, or was that just like their airtime?
It was just your TV airtime. I'm If it was live, fuck, man. Who the fuck does that live?
What I saw of it, you could tell it was taped.
Yeah, it's only thing Ring of Honor has going against it, and also is kind of its pro, is the fact that it doesn't have any production value, really.
Right.
They just set up one camera and they fucking wrestle.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I like that, honestly.
Me too.
Because I was up in Louisville for a little while, and of course back then OVW was kind of like the AAA for the WWE. That was where all the talent went before they signed their contract, and that was the exact same thing. It was you had to be a Friday night or Saturday night at like midnight or something like that. But I never missed a show while I was up there. But it was awesome. I mean, it's just. This is just pure wrestling.
Yeah, because you get really hungry just to see other wrestling other than the fucking shit that's pushed down your throat every Monday and Friday, you know?
Or Thursday.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
TNA is still considered quote unquote the number 2 company, man. It's just like I want them to do well, but they fuck up every.
And I hate it because I think like the last 2 or 3 shows, they haven't sold. You know, I think they barely cracked 500 in the audience.
Yeah, I read that too. That's bad because the boys in the back don't get paid for that.
No.
You know.
But I don't know if you guys got to catch any while they were doing their European
Yeah,
tour.
they were over as fuck over there.
When they sell out an arena, they're legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're smothered here, man. This McMahon has got a tight leash on where wrestling can and when and where it can happen.
Here's what Vince has a tight leash on, and this is the only thing he's smart about is branding. Because throughout the last 35 years, or even more, professional wrestling has been branded as, technically like Band-Aid, and Coca-Cola is with soda, is when people hear pro wrestling, or whatever, immediately, subconsciously, the first thing is actually World Wrestling Federation, WWF, actually.
Yeah. That's
And
the first thing that comes to mind.
yes, and he knows that, and he does so well as to exemplify every nuance of that brand.
Yeah.
By all,
And I think that has a lot to do with a few years ago. I know you guys remember, Hogan signed with TNA.
Yeah.
And he went, live on CNN and made this big announcement. We're going head to head with the competition, brother.
Yeah.
On Monday nights. And they tried, and Vince just kind of took the high road and ignored it, and it worked.
yeah,
fucking asshole, man.
yeah, he's a
dick, dude.
yeah, he's something nasty. And speaking of which, okay, so did you watch WrestleMania 30?
Yeah, totally, you did.
Okay, all right.
I watched it.
Overall impressions, what would you say as far as the league of all WrestleManias and the barometer? How did that fare?
Like a skull.
You know what? My favorite Mania of all time, I've said it I don't know how many times. My favorite Mania of all time is 8. And the only reason being is because I was there.
Okay.
Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, it was awesome.
Dude, you can see the
looking back,
golden days.
8 was, oh man, it was terrible. 30 to me, it's the bottom of the barrel.
Dude,
Really?
Yeah, let's do a quick card rundown. Okay, after the 4-way tag or 3-way tag, or was it 4-way?
That was a 4-way, right?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Yeah, the Usos good. They should have fucking won.
Yeah,
And,
I like the Usos.
the next match.
Yeah, the Usos.
Okay, match number 2 was that's Triple H and Daniel Bryan, right? Was that the second match?
Yeah. That was the next one. That was how they opened it, and I was actually really glad that they did. I felt like they had to open with that match to keep the momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they basically killed it. They started the year killing the whole momentum for WrestleMania, which is something you don't want to do.
No, Royal Rumble was an absolute disaster.
Zero build-up.
Yeah.
Triple H also he put on a good match. He done some moves he usually doesn't do, like a lot of submissions, which is crazy.
He pulled off the cross face, and I was really surprised that he, you never see Triple H pull off the cross face. And I was thinking, I was looking at the card, and it's that strange coincidence, I guess that's what you want to call it. years ago, there was the triple threat for the title with Benoit and Triple H involved. And it pissed me off a little to see him do that.
Yeah, he was just.
Because I mark out hard over Benoit.
Me too, man.
I'm a
Because
Benoit fan too.
he deserved his title run that he had, and he worked his fucking ass off all the time, dude. He never hurt it. Well, hold on, he did hurt Sabu once, but he didn't hurt.
No, he didn't.
Well,
He's probably the safest guy to get in the ring and wrestle. When you get Bastion Booger in there and it looks like fucking headliner.
Right.
So, Kevin, watching that match, did you have in the back of your minds like maybe Triple H is going to win? Did you have that thought?
I did, man. Cause, it's funny. Like, what I kind of seen the way the Daniel Bryan underdog storyline, the countless screw jobs. I kind of seen that happening. I don't, I guess in the way I predicted it. But I don't know how much realness to that there was in that story. I mean, because, in Triple H, they love their bodybuilders.
Right. See,
they don't like little guys.
I think
that's true.
They had to flip the script even a little bit before WrestleMania just because you can't ignore
that match was intentionally probably Batista and Triple H, right?
Right. Actually, I think it's.
Yeah.
I was thinking probably.
Honestly, if that was the route they wanted to go down, bringing in a part timer, I would have rather seen Brock over Batista.
Oh yeah, because Brock is a, I don't know. He kind of breeds.
He's a freak of nature, man.
He breeds this traditional nature of professional wrestling, which was this legit tough guy taking on hookers. Not hookers in the sense of prostitutes, but hookers were called back in the day with these wrestlers that weren't that strong, but they managed to get out of every hold. And if you're a Sideshow Barker or whatever, that's the guy you want on the card to draw some money because he can get out of that hole. With Brock,
but, there were a lot of fans that were really pissed that Daniel Bryan got screwed out of the title at SummerSlam and Orton, Orton won the title. And me personally, I wasn't really that upset with it. So if you really think about it, Orton kind of took the back seat there for, almost 2 years, or, I guess right at 2 years, because you had the Punk title run.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You had the Rock for 2 years, and there was no focus on Randy Orton. And, me personally, I like Randy Orton. I mean, he was probably the most boring guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really has a lot of control over that.
No.
I think they give him a little more freedom to be 1,000 times more entertaining.
What were your thoughts at the opening segment there with Hogan, The Rock, and Steve Austin?
I kind of felt like a kid because I was really wanting to see. I was wanting to see a classic promo between The Rock and Austin.
See,
and,
for me,
I'm all in if there's a Rock Austin Part 4.
Dude, what I would have loved to see, even though if it didn't make any sense at all, I just wanted to see Stone Cold stun Hogan. Because that's never happened.
Yeah, he reverses a big boot and stuns Hogan. That'd have been so fucking cool.
Sweet. Because they've never wrestled each other. I don't think he's ever laid a stunner on Hogan.
Nope, never.
I know Hogan will take it.
The only time I've seen those two go at it was it was like the road to WrestleMania 18 when they brought in the NWO and did that whole angle.
Yeah,
and, that was like a 2 against 3, handicap tag team match. And, the match went on and just elbow cleats and Austin threw a few of his little side grip punches to Hogan, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, I would have loved to see him in front of Hogan.
Gosh.
It would have been great.
Watch them all 3 of them drink a cold beer in the middle of the ring.
That is perfect. To me, that would have been worth the money.
That was awesome. Sometimes it's a little awkward, though, because it's like they're just there to promote, the WWE and the network.
The network, yeah.
They're well within their right to do that. They definitely set the mark.
This Hogan run, I don't see it as being like a Hulkamania run. I just see him there pushing product. He's
he's making
WWE Network, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was there.
I think, the next thing is, Hogan's going to come out probably for, to promote SummerSlam, and Santino Marella Cobra sleeve.
Yeah, I like Santino Marella. I do.
I do too.
I shouldn't, but I do. I think he's very entertaining.
But he's actually not too bad in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he got super over last year. They was actually thinking about putting a strap on him, too.
The backstage creative was like, he's over as fuck. And I guess they hit a crossroads because there was a dilemma there with the, I guess his weight class. They was having a dilemma there with, Ray was in and out of suspensions and so on and so forth with whatever. And then they tried, to put it bluntly, they were trying to find a minority to push. And Santino Marella.
What nationality is he anyway?
He's Italian, right?
Is he Italian, Kevin? Is he Italian?
I guess.
But I think that's what it was. And they went with Ray because it was a sure bet, because that Mexico money is real. And as difficult of a market competing with Lucha Libre, which to this day, no one's understood the ring psychology of that business.
I think it's controlled chaos. I don't think there's nothing to understand there.
Because, no one understands it. But, there was a certain minority of the month to push, and I think Santino Marella was somebody they seriously considered because he was over the kids. Like, when they had their ratings bash there for the Saturday morning thing, which is by far the most awful. I don't think.
Do you ever catch? Does your little guys watch that with you? Did they ever watch Saturday Night Wrestling or Saturday Morning Wrestling with you?
No. Well, I mean, not really, because I forget that it's on. I mean, he's hooked to the network.
They put Cesaro over.
I got you.
On that show, they put Cesaro over and Santino Marella. They put both of those characters over more so than any other, and Kofi, which I think Kofi Kingston is a guy that we should pay attention to.
Oh, for sure.
And plus,
he's another one that he's passed to for a title.
Oh yeah,
I don't
dude.
know if that's another weight class thing or what. I mean,
IC title for sure.
I don't think it really matters, but yeah, dude, he just keeps getting swept under the
His
rug.
creativity with his Jackie Chan like mentality.
Well,
I
just like that gimmick. I just like the fact that he has a new way of getting out of being eliminated. That's a cool gimmick to have as a wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Hardy
That's
kinda
one
did
of a
that.
kind, man. Personally, I wanted to see Kofi and RVD square off.
Oh, that would be really interesting.
It could happen because RVD's
back. He's back on contract there, so that wouldn't be too far fetched to see.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Because I think at some point they're going to do like a Kofi heel turn, and that's when kind of like the light bulb went off. Like, oh man, him and RVD. That'd be something to see.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Just give me some ladders. Fuck,
so
they'll do something with it.
So do you see WrestleMania 30 being just? Was it worth your dollar? Or?
Well, actually, let's go back up. Just back it up a little bit.
Okay.
We'll talk about it as a whole in a few moments.
Okay.
But the Triple H Daniel Bryan match, what would you give that on the scale of 1 to 10?
A 4.
Okay.
A 4. Yeah, generally that's the overall feeling.
I would expect that. Yeah.
I think the only thing that made it interesting was, the fact that Triple H pulled off a couple moves that he never does. Other than that, I mean, it was probably nothing more than what you would have seen on Raw or SmackDown. It was not good.
I got you.
Okay.
It was just there.
It happened, yeah.
It was just unnecessary things like...
honestly, a lot of the matches were like that. As far as, we're talking just quality, pure wrestling, it was pretty much the whole entire show.
I gotcha. That was technically match number 1 in WrestleMania 30. Match number 2 was the Battle Royal, right? Speaking of Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, that was the Battle Royal. And I was stunned that Big Show didn't win it, because it was funny because he went out there with like the single strap singlet.
Okay.
And I thought, that's like the dead giveaway. He's gonna win the Andre Trophy.
Hell yeah, because he's known as the only other giant in
And in
wrestling.
WCW, they passed him off as the son of Andre the Giant.
Yeah, that was a couple years.
Yeah.
They try to
But
pass it
to
off.
see Cesaro do it and just put the big guy over the ropes, man, that was awesome. Cesaro definitely deserves everything coming to him.
Dude,
man, in the future.
I honestly did not expect Cesaro to win. I
didn't either.
know we like him as fans.
I didn't expect it either, and that's probably the one thing that I loved about Mania was there was stuff that happened that it was unpredictable in a way, other than the Daniel Bryan victory.
Right.
I'm glad that happened.
I mean, it's one of those things that had to happen, or there'd been a riot. But
for sure.
But my bets, I hate to say it, on the Battle Royal or whatever, I was thinking maybe fucking Sheamus would win. This guy's
bro kick everyone out of the ring. Yeah. Well, you know,
dude, Sheamus, man. I agree with what you guys said on the first one. Like, well, I don't see the appeal in him as a face.
Yeah, it's like
it makes no sense to me. Like, I mean, when he debuted as a heel, like he was all right. I mean, he's not the greatest wrestler, but I mean, he's definitely better than a lot of the other guys on the roster. But
sure,
as a heel, man, he nailed it.
Yeah,
he just has the look of somebody you wouldn't want to watch.
Yeah, I don't like him anyway as a face.
I hate gingers, man. I mean, I really don't. They are creepy.
Fucking daywalkers, man.
Yeah,
I can see the marketing appeal of that guy though, just because. He looks different enough, and he sells T-shirts. He's got a different looking action figure, and plus you can tell when he really gets hurt.
Warrior today, I guess you could say.
So what about the Hall of Fame ceremony?
That was the best part of the weekend.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. We kind of drug on for a little while, and Mr. T talking about his mom. That was a little weird, but
what Mr. T was talking about.
Dude, man, he just I think they did a mom-o-meter, and he mentioned his mom 71 times throughout his speech.
Oh,
well, that's pretty cool, though, man.
They had to cut him off, they had changed.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, his time was up, and he did kind of let it go on a little too long, because I was pretty pissed. To see Jake do it, oh man, that was sweet, dude. Jake and Razor, man, that was better to me than the Warrior, and the Warrior was. He was my guy as a kid, I was really stoked that, they put all the bullshit behind him and inducted him, but no, man, Jake the Snake and Scott Hall, man, hats off to those guys, because they worked their asses off.
Well,
they deserve it.
Dude, hats off to fucking probably the most important wrestler in the past decades, fucking DDP, man. He fucking saved their lives.
He did save their lives.
If he's not in the Hall of Fame next year, there's no problem.
DDP is a success story from the top to bottom.
Because he was the people's champion in WCW, man.
Well,
he was
here's
over
the kicker.
As fuck.
Diamond Dallas Page was initially a manager, and that was his gig. Yeah. He just had a cigar, and he managed a couple of mid-card wrestlers. And that was all they ever thought of.
A pink Cadillac for the
and he was originally a bar owner. He owned a couple bars, and he was also the bouncer. But the fact that he took that, it's like Jimmy Hart. If Jimmy Hart suddenly became like a legitimate competitor, he was someone who was billed and written as a manager. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
And he took that, and he understood ring psychology, and taking bumps, and augmenting the DDT is the most important thing he did. Which
nobody landed a better DDT. I mean, there's been the DDT has evolved. I mean, I think the Rock's DDT is pretty awesome.
Yes,
and
it is.
Orton's DDT off the ropes is sweet. But man, the way Jake delivered that DDT, it was like he was really trying to drive your head into the mat.
Yeah, because that was a fucking serious. Speaking of that, how did Ultimate Warrior look at the ceremony? I mean, did he?
He looked like he did in his shoot videos. No pain or nothing like that. Just came out and did a typical ordinary speech. It's weird because I don't see how so many people look at him as this big motivational speaker guy. Because I don't see that in him. I think he's genuinely a good person.
Yeah.
And maybe he does motivate people and like listening, but I don't know. It was kind of his speech was kind of weird, which was no surprise if everybody out there and listen to his promos, because those are just
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
off the walls, man.
Yeah, you had to get a fucking alien from Saturn to translate those. But I understand having beef with a wrestler, with Hogan especially, with Ultimate Warrior having that much beef. But dude, how much can you hate on one dude? Because he spent probably maybe 6 or 8 hours is talking shit about Hogan all the
and
time.
Hogan was the guy
that
said,
had to be more personal than we could even imagine, or the Warrior's just oversensitive guy. I don't
that
know,
could
man.
be
That's
it. That could be a personality flaw, or
But also,
it felt a little awkward knowing that like Hogan was in the front row and the Warrior was up there.
And Hogan was the guy that said, "I'm gonna drop the
At one
belt." to him."
point, like the fans, you could hear the fans like chanting "shoot, shoot, shoot," and I'm like, oh,
oh no, oh no,
oh, that would be history.
Because
But really, all he did was clarify that he didn't like the DVD. He didn't appreciate that. And the DVD, man, those is.
dude.
I don't know if you guys ever seen it.
Oh yeah, it's a smear campaign.
Oh, dude, I watched it.
They really see that guy in the bus.
They did dig a hole in his
But
ass.
it wasn't. I mean, WWE, they're pretty petty, but they didn't do that DVD just for the fuck of it.
Right.
Warrior really did piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I think where it got, what it drove home, I think is that story where Andre put the fist up in front of him when he was doing this.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan, man, telling that story. Bobby Heenan's a fucking shit.
Yeah, I love Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, but the brain, the weasel's awesome, man.
The in-between time that Warrior, Hellwig, was in between all this time, he did do speeches at colleges throughout the United States.
Okay.
And he would just fucking go off on. He would make a lot of sense, and then he goes on this fucking homophobic tangent, and then it starts to get into weird territory, just like his promos were. Initially he's like, okay, he's hitting the points, then he goes off the deep end. That's really who he is, and I think that's what he represented. But when he then in 2009 or 10, he cuts these shoot interviews against Hogan and Vince, and a lot of people are like, dude, because he did have his shit together. I think he filmed it in front of a library of books he had, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But he did. I think he worked out better now as an elder statesman of the 80s wrestling phenomena. And I think that's that elder statesman kind of aura that he brings on is why Vince thought it was interesting to kind of bring him back, pay him off a little bit.
I think the only reason I'll just say it. The only reason they brought him back was A, to sell T-shirts, and B, and
network, dude.
And kids will buy his action figure because he looks cool.
Face painted up, and he's all built like.
Yeah, he still looks cool to this day.
Oh, he's fucking amazing looking. Kevin, I'm going to take a small little break, and we're going to start a new file. This is the Stiff Oddcast with Kevin Kaemerer and Alan Orange and Casey Orange. We'll be right back.